We're one of only 41 recognized comprehensive cancer centers in the country. We have been a comprehensive cancer center for almost 35 years, so we're one of the longest standing comprehensive cancer centers and really have contributed significantly to clinical research, not just locally and regionally, but nationally. In the last 5 years, we've accrued over 7,500 patients to clinical trials. Just in the last year, we accrued 1,600 patients. We have only 40 clinical investigators, so that's a small cohort of investigators, but clearly to accrue that many patients over the course of a year indicates how active we are. And these aren't just, these are actually very novel trials. These are trials that were established by investigators and the basic scientists, so drug discovery. I give Tallant and PEG credit for a drug called ANG17 developed in their laboratory that was initially thought of as an anti-hypertensive. It's now found, we have found as Wake Forest investigators, it has anti-tumor activities. We've now run a phase 1 study. We've now seen activity in a phase 2 study, and we're moving it into another phase 2 study for patients with brain tumors. Very unique opportunity for an institution to translate basic science findings into an active clinical trial. We're very excited about that compound. We've had an opportunity to be involved in national studies. For example, the lung cancer screening trial. Carolyn Childs was one of the lead investigators. Tens of thousands of patients were studied. And we've now found through that trial that with screening of lung cancer patients, with appropriate criteria, we can now reduce their risk of death from diagnosis of lung cancer. That's a major accomplishment. And again, Wake Forest was involved in leadership in that trial. Dr. Ed Shaw runs a CCOP, which is a unique research-based clinical trial operation that looks at alternative medicines. For one example, we had one study that accrued almost 400 patients in 3 months. That's how active that research base is, and under the leadership of Ed Shaw, is very successful. We're actually currently accruing to a multi-institutional trial with the University of Pittsburgh with a unique vaccine for low-grade gliomas. This is the first of its kind trial with a vaccine for this type of tumor. And what's more interesting is that Dr. Valdemar Dubinsky actually discovered several of the targets that this vaccine is going after. Again, a wonderful example of a translational find or a basic science find in Dr. Dubinsky's lab that's now in an active phase 2 study. Wake Forest is very, very successful when it comes to translational research and moving things from the bench to the bedside. I think the vision for the clinical research program in the next 5 years is really around 3 things. First and foremost is to continue to accrue like we've been accruing, to have a unique and novel portfolio of clinical trials available for our patients in Western North Carolina. So that's always been our focus, and it will always continue to be our focus, and we will continue to work hard to make sure that's true. We are in the midst of recruiting a world-class drug development individual. Our hope is that although we do have a very diverse portfolio of novel compounds and strategies, by bringing in a world-class drug development individual, we can even expand that and make that even better. And then finally, we want to make molecular imaging a routine part of cancer care for patients. Dr. Pradeep Garg, for example, has his own tracer. It's called positron emission tomography or PET-CT. But this tracer is a tracer he discovered in his laboratory, and we have wonderful animal data to say it is an improved tracer from the first generation types of these tracers, and we've now got an FDA approval to move this into a clinical trial. We're going to have molecular imaging become a real component of cancer management. Moving forward, we'll always want to have a unique and novel portfolio of clinical trials available to our patients. Again, we'd like to make sure that any patient who comes in with a diagnosis has an opportunity to participate in a clinical trial, and we will always continue to do that.